we're in the final throes of it here, and we're on the graveyard shift. So appreciate everybody hanging around to hear us talk about unlocking demand. I want to also thank Digiday for a great event, and also Brian for plugging the challenge bar with some great reach and frequency there. I think that thing had more plugs than the Mayweather-Pacquiao fight last week. So thank you. We look forward to seeing all your challenges and sharing that back with you guys. So I'm joined by Jana Maron from Business Insider. We're going to a mic here. Is that better? I want to talk about unlocking demand, and I think from the start, Rubicon Project's mission is to automate advertising, and how do we get the most demand for premium publishers, inventory, and audiences to really drive fill and drive yield, and obviously which equates to revenue. And we've done that traditionally through the open market that we've had for 8 years and pioneered kind of in the RTB space. We, in 2012, innovated on that to bring in a private marketplace layer to allow publishers to automate and reach new buyers in a more exclusive fashion. And then ultimately, that culminated with our full stack offering that we added iSocket and Shiny Ads through acquisitions last year to look at the automated guaranteed side of things. So what we also have been working on for the last year is how do we give publishers the tools that buyers have in the marketplace from a programmatic perspective, and give them more tools on the sell side to go out and unlock more demand. And so today we're really going to touch on those tools and the product that we call Ad Engine. And really that is a bidder that allows you to traffic and work on direct CPA and CPC optimization campaigns for advertisers that premium publishers would probably usually turn away and kind of disappear into the ecosystem and come through a third party. And then ultimately, how do you extend and drive deeper relationships for your advertisers that you work with your first party data, and that's audience extension. So the Ad Engine product that we've rolled out, and we've worked with innovative partners like Business Insider in our private beta over the last 3 months to kind of really road test that product. And so I thank Jana for coming out here and talking to us. So Jana, real quick, we heard from your CRO yesterday, Pete Spandy, around kind of the best practices and some of the, debunking some of the myths around private marketplaces. But why don't we set the context of how you guys sell to the market today?
Sure. So we have integrated programmatic throughout our entire sales force. And so actually throughout the entire organization, from sales to operations, account management. And so right now, however an advertiser wants to buy from us, they can, whether it's direct, programmatic, sponsorship. So a lot of times it's all coming together. And so from that standpoint, it's everywhere.
Yep. And so we've talked about it. I mean, your use case really with Ad Engine and how you used it in our private beta was more, we have advertisers that we turn away, right?
Yeah.
And so how did you kind of unlock that demand and make sure that you were able to work with those guys, and it was in the mix of the overall auction that you guys
Well, yeah. So we often, when I started at Business Insider, salespeople would come to me and say, Jana, how can we put them in the auction? And I would say, we can't. I'm sorry. And there's nothing we can do. And oftentimes that they couldn't meet the rate card, or they, whatever it was, that they didn't have a DSP. And so, but we really knew the private marketplace was the right place for them. And so when you guys came to us with this, it immediately was like, yes, we need this. And as soon as we went to our sales force and said, we have this we're trying out this new product, they all had, a list of advertisers that they could go back to who we once said, we can't work with you. Now, today, we can.
Yeah. And operationally, I mean, we talk about smaller advertisers have greater needs, right? And operationally, when you put that burden on your operations department to have to deliver campaigns and try to optimize those manually, it doesn't really in the long run work, right? Your cost of sales becomes bigger. So operationally, has it become easier, kind of,
It's super easy. I mean, it's still an IO, right? So you could fix that.
Yeah.
And it's still an IO, but once it comes in, we put it in the auction, we set a price. One of my favorite features is the value price that you guys have. So if somebody says, look, we have this really big budget, but we just want to test with you, we then can put in the CPM that they're paying, and then also put a special value on it, so that it can compete higher up in the auction, which in some cases is really good strategically for us.
Right. And so we talk about kind of priority and we talk about how do you, and Pete talked on this yesterday, how do you touch or how do you understand the kind of campaign metrics that they're looking for, right? What are the back end metrics that they're looking to succeed? And this is more of a direct relationship, right? It's not through a channel, it's not through a DSP that might be a managed service, it's not through an agency trading desk that might be too busy to kind of inform as to what that back end metric is. So talk a little bit about, in general, how you guys work through the kind of, to understand the back end metrics to make campaigns work better in the private marketplace layer, and then how does that work with these direct guys that you're coming in and setting up your own PMPs and using the bidder yourself instead of a DSP?
Yeah, so we actually are very engaged with our advertisers in the private marketplace. So as Pete said yesterday, it's not set it, forget it, but the minute somebody sets up a campaign with us, it gets approved, an account manager reaches out to them, gives them the deal ID and says, tell us about your KPIs, right? What can we do to make sure this works? And it's been really great because if the advertisers are willing to share that information with us, then we can help optimize on the fly, right? And say, oh, that's not working for you, or oh, this section sold out, we need to change, and be flexible. It's all about being fluid, adding first-party data. And so from the ad engine standpoint, they'll come to us and say, it's a branding, it's, back-end CPA, we're looking for CTR, and so we can just keep an eye on that the same way we can with the PMP, and again, make suggestions. What should we add in to help make the performance better? But it's much less manual than if we did it direct.
Right. So let's stay on the first-party data point. I think at this stage, within the ad engine, we've got the bidding capability and on its extension that's kind of seamlessly sewn in to allow publishers to extend off-site, off Rubicon's network and beyond Rubicon's network. First-party data is a big part of what you guys do and how you sell and how you market yourselves and drive those deep relationships with your marketers. And I know you haven't used the audience extension side of things, but kind of talk about your first-party data program and then how you see that working kind of moving forward, right, to drive that deeper relationship with advertisers.
So our first-party data, we're constantly trying to figure out ways that we can give really rich user experience to both the reader and the advertiser, right? And so we use a lot of first-party data segments within PMP to help create more inventory for our advertisers. And then from the, now I forget the question.
Just in terms of the program that you're using and then extending it not only with your direct campaigns, but also with your private marketplace
because you guys
campaigns.
have such a robust exchange and with all of really great publishers, it gives us the trust to be able to say to our advertisers, look, you want to buy, this tiny little segment, great, we can use Rubicon's ad engine and extend that across the web to really a trusted group of publishers because you guys are, have some of the top publishers out there. And so we'll use audience extension eventually, to be able to help them reach that small audience, but really create massive scale.
Right. I can't see anything, but quick show of hands, at publishers out there that have used audience extension, has it been successful? So who's used it? And what success have you seen? Or, sorry, who's been successful? All right, there we go. The hands stayed up, I think. You can't really see much there. So a lot of what we're doing on Ad Engine really too is we talk about bringing kind of buy-side tools to allow campaigns to run. And a lot of publishers premium publishers turn away direct response campaigns, right? They're CPC based, they're CPA based. Those kind of go into the ether of the DSP realm. And so for us, again, bringing those tools to the forefront of Ad Engine, allowing sellers to accept those campaigns, let them run, lessen the burden of the cost of operations of trying to optimize those. We've talked about a unique use case that you guys have in that you've got high volume and high quality house ads. You've got your own separate business that you guys run with the exclusive reports that you write, like the Facebook Atlas that I just bought. That's another thing that can play a role in your auction, right? Which adds to the bid density of everything that's happening there. So, you want to talk a little bit about what that program could look like?
It's really actually very interesting and something that we are exploring, and I'm very excited to roll it out. Right now, we're running our ads for our conferences and our subscription service as house ads, right? So there's nothing left. That's what gets served. But there's a value there. People are paying for these products, and so what we'd like to do is be able to put them in the unified auction. They'll still be house ads, but we can, again, put a value CPM on it and then determine what we need to be able to spend to buy those users who are going to convert, whether they buy a subscription or they buy a ticket to Ignition. And so from that standpoint, now we really get to understand the metrics of the auction on our site, and then also if we want to go do audience extension with these products across the web, we now know what we need to bid in order to get those users
Right.
to convert.
So informing your pricing strategy of what you would do when you went out there.
Absolutely.
Okay. Cool. I think we're running out of time here. For us, Ad Engine, the whole premise is the walls are coming down between direct and indirect sales, and we've got to put the tools in the publisher's hands to allow them to really have that competing unified auction out there for all types of buyers. And ultimately, what we see when we see more bids come in, you see that rise in price and ultimately results. And I think also sophisticated publishers are looking to run their own trading operations, not turn away any type of buyer out there because of the operational burden that might be there with what type of buy that it is, and then obviously integrating so that you don't have to jump systems within extending your audience, that seamless kind of integration. So Jana, thank you very much for joining us on stage here. Any questions from the audience before we take our long walk back? All right. Well, with that said, Jan and I will be around for the next kind of half an hour, and if you guys have any questions, let us know, but thanks very much.